Hello and welcome back to Stick to Fitness, brought to you by my co-host Archie and myself, Himson. Have you ever found yourself staring longingly at the fridge at night when dieting, or even watching other people when you're prepping or dieting? If so, this episode is for you. So for today's topic of discussion, we're tackling the world of hunger management. And by the end of this podcast, you'll have the tools and the practical strategies to keep those hunger pangs at bay and stay on track with your diet. So first of all, hunger is a very natural and normal thing that occurs when dieting. You know, we joke around with the fridge thing, but it's a very, very normal behavior. Hunger, I'd say, is one of the top reasons people fail when it comes to dieting. They just simply can't stomach it. So what are your top tips in terms of managing your hunger when dieting?
I think number one thing is being prepared. It's always like kind of knowing when you're going to eat, because then it gives you like something to almost look forward to. So if you know that you're going to be planning your meals out for the rest of the day, it's kind of like, it kind of makes it easier to suppress that hunger, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Because you know that if you're eating like every 2.5, 3 hours, whatever, you know that you're going to be constantly getting a flow of food rather than not having something for like 6, 7 hours because you haven't been able to have access to something. And also just drink a shit ton of caffeine.
Yeah, hunger is suppressed a lot by caffeine. So this is why people tend to have very high caffeine intake when they diet. And actually, a lot of the fat burners,
they're just caffeine.
Yohin bean, things like that, it's very, very high caffeine. And I think that's why fat burners really work, is because one, caffeine kind of suppresses your hunger. 2, it gives you the shits. Yeah. And then 3, it makes you move, right? So when you take a lot of caffeine, you've got high energy. Yep. You are potentially moving more than what you would because you're buzzing, you're flying off of high caffeine. So caffeine is a big one. Do you think there is I think one thing to speak more on is probably the difference between physical hunger and also psychological hunger. So I think a lot of the times, I see it a lot with clients, is that you start the diet, like let's say, I'm going to do a mini cut, or let's say you're prepping, right? You start the first week, you say, oh, what do you feel a bit of hunger? And it's like, yeah, you're probably not. And I think that is most likely going to be psychological hunger, in terms of you just expect that you will feel hungry because you've been
told that you're going to be hungry.
Yeah, well, you've been dieting. Well, you're starting your diet, right? So you automatically just assume that, oh yeah, I'm dieting, so I should be hungry.
Yeah, I don't know about you. Me, from my personal experience, the hunger is not really ever felt until like after 30 plus weeks, kind of.
I guess maybe even less so time, but more so the body fat percentage I end up being. That's probably when I feel hunger. When I get into, I'd say around the 77 kilo mark. So for me, stage weight is like 75. Around the 77 kilo, 78, that's when I start to feel a little bit of hunger, where it's a little bit trickier and it's harder to manage. But overall, I don't necessarily feel crazy. I mean, there's always going to be a degree of hunger, right? Like I'm not dieting now, but I'm pretty hungry right now.
I'm absolutely starving right now.
Do you know what I mean? So
I think though, when it comes to dieting, it's more that I can't have sort of attitude that kind of makes you hungry. Yeah, that makes sense. So it's like, oh, I can't have that. So then whatever you eat,
I want that.
Yeah. If you're craving pizza, like and Domino's and like everything, and you're just having your chicken and rice, no matter how big that chicken and rice is, it's never gonna satisfy you, because it's not what you want. Pizza. You want pizza. So I think one thing that I kind of had to learn kind of the hard way was, because I always go for like sugar options. Yeah. So trying to fit into my calories as many sweet things as possible, which in the long run is not sustainable, because you're always going to be wanting that sweet thing. And then when you can't have it, then that kind of just makes you, in your head, hungry. So all that psychological hunger rather than actually being hungry. So using a lot of like artificial sweeteners and things like that, just to try and like curve that craving, if you like. So one thing that I would kind of, if I did it again, is trying to limit that as much as possible, rather than using it as a tool to make myself kind of like feel better about being hungry.
Yeah. That's flexible dieting for you, right?
I love flexible dieting.
Yeah.
So
gives you like a lot of the times you become too flexible.
Way
Right.
too flexible.
And you use more calories than what you should on things that don't fill you up, right? But yeah, I think the want versus the need is definitely a big factor when it comes to hunger. And also, I think body fat levels, like I said at the start of this podcast, when you do get to a certain degree of conditions that like it's very normal to feel hungry.
Yeah.
I think and the psychological factor comes down to at some point in the day, there are elements where you will feel hungry. Just because you're on 2,500 calories doesn't mean that you never feel hungry. You leave a bit too big of a gap between a meal. You end up being hungry. Maybe you are a little bit more tired or you're a little bit dehydrated. That can also give you some false sensations of hunger. I think that's a massive one as well.
I think that's where your mindset's important because like it's okay to be hungry. It's how you respond to that hunger is going to determine whether you're going to kind of be successful or not, isn't it? So knowing that you're being hungry is part of like existing, and especially if you're going to be dying for a long period of time, then you can expect to be hungry. Then if you just accept it in the case of, okay, well, yeah, I'm hungry.
Yeah.
Is what it is at the end of the day, isn't it?
It's an emotion, it's a sensation, it's a feeling, right? And I think for whatever reason, we've grown up to be like, I need to react to that sensation.
Like immediately as well.
So it's like I feel hungry, so I'm going to eat.
Yeah.
And as human beings, we're so used to just succumbing to that sensation. But as anything else in life, we don't really necessarily think about it. So sometimes you're like, I feel cold. But you don't necessarily put a jacket on straight away. Sometimes you're just like, you sit there and you're like, fucking, I'm freezing.
Well, no, but like people do that all the time, right? When they go out on like a night out, if they don't have a coat for their outfit, they just, I'm going to be cold tonight.
Yeah.
But I like my outfit.
If we responded in the same way as we would with hunger, as we did with the cold, we'd be like, I'm going home.
Yeah.
It's too cold. I have to go home. Yeah. Well, I'm going to go to that shop. I have to buy that coat.
Yeah.
Because I'm so cold. But we don't tend to do that, right?
No, I think that's because it's just so accessible, isn't it? Like even like I'm guilty of that as well. It's like I'm hungry, so I'm going to make something to eat. But whilst I'm making something to eat, I need to be eating.
Yeah, I need to fulfill that immediately.
Yeah, immediately. And then you get your dinner and you're like, I'm not really hungry anymore.
Yeah, but I'm still going to finish it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think there's definitely a huge difference between the psychological hunger and also the physiological side of it. And then also, and that's primarily due to like the hormones, right? So, and also after you diet, those sensations can be out of whack as well, right? So when you're very low body fat, your hormone ghrelin and leptin, which are responsible for one telling your body how full you are, and the other is telling you, when kind of you're done eating, basically.
Yeah.
And if they're out of whack, like post shoot, or you've got into very lean body fat condition, you're getting these responses to tell you that you need to eat.
Yeah. Have you ever had that before after like?
Every time, man.
Yeah, but have you ever done it to the point where it's like you've been sick because?
Not vomiting sick.
Yeah.
But I definitely had where like my stomach's hurting. I've eaten too much, like way too much food. There's always like post show.
I can remember the first time I did it. No matter what I ate, I was still hungry.
Really?
We went out. Yeah, well, it's actually insane. It's the maddest feeling. And then going out, like eating all day, whatever, then going out for dinner. I had to go to the bathroom, threw up everything.
Carried on.
Just carried on because I was still hungry. But that was when I was a bit more naive and didn't understand kind of what was actually going on.
Mm.
But I can just remember, like I felt like I could eat anything and I would not feel hungry at all.
You'd feel full, but I don't know. You kind of like.
I felt bloated, but I felt like I can still keep going easily.
I think in what I've experienced is I do feel full, but then psychologically I feel hungry. If that makes sense. Like I think my body is like, it's full. Otherwise, you wouldn't be vomiting, whatever.
But you just want it.
But psychologically, you want like, it's this, oh, fucking hell, I've not had this. Like, I need to eat this now, otherwise.
It could go.
Yeah.
It's never going to be there again.
And I think that's a big thing when it comes to dieting. And that's what a lot of bodybuilders, and that's all the negative side effects of dieting to extreme low body fats, right? Your body just wants to put on body fat. It's like, it wants to survive. So that's kind of when and why that tends to occur. And that, whether at that time you feel like you're never going to recover from it.
Yeah.
I always remember, I'm like, shit, man, like, am I going to feel like this all the time? I've completely fucked myself up.
Then there is a point though, but there is a point though afterwards where it's just like, hang on a second, I don't feel hungry anymore.
That's called recovery.
Yeah, you're done. But it just kind of hits you. It's not like kind of like a slow, well, for me anyway, it was never like a slow gradual thing. It's like 1 minute I'm absolutely starved, next minute, oh.
Yeah, you didn't realise that.
I'm not hungry anymore.
Yeah.
So it's just how you respond to it is really important. Like, especially if you're in a fat loss phase and that's what your kind of goal is, you just have to kind of accept it. I mean, I did some mad things to try and like curve that. Started vaping. To try.
Is that your number one advice?
Not advice, but when you're hungry, like
that air tastes good.
It makes you do some crazy things.
Do you think
like I started vaping with nicotine, then I went to nicotine-free vapes, and then it was like the old protein paste just for like so like a scoop of protein powder with the tiniest bit of water to make a paste just for taste. Like it's just eating all the vegetables that you can kind of think of because you want volume. Like whereas like if I'm thinking logically, like
it's stupid.
Like looking back, it is so stupid.
Do you think?
But in the time, I couldn't see. There was no other way out for it.
Do you think that the vaping made you more hungry?
No, it made me less hungry.
But it gives you this taste. But I suppose nicotine is also appetite suppressant.
And then no, it didn't because it curved like that feeling of like sweetness.
Yeah.
And it gave you something else. It was just something else to like kind of focus on. I'm really embarrassed about it, to be honest with you. Like there was just a mad. It was only for like 10 weeks, but it was just a mad. Like I was doing like 2 vapes a day.
Just vape. Is that a lot?
Wow.
How long do people usually go through a vape?
I don't know. That's a good question, but I guess
any professional vapors out there?
I don't know.
2 vapes a day.
I don't know.
Have you done more?
I don't know the statistics for that, but I guess if you're vaping with nicotine, if you're doing 2 vapes a day with nicotine, you might just like the equivalent's like what, a couple of packets of cigarettes or something.
Yeah, go on.
So yeah, like just sitting there chuffing away like that. I mean, that
you hotbox the room, yeah.
Yeah, in my car, everything. I just couldn't stop. But like I said, that was just making me, because I wasn't thinking rationally. I wasn't thinking like I would normally be thinking.
Yeah, you do stupid stuff when you're
because
dieting.
I was like, I'll do anything. If this is going to help me not break my diet, then I'm all for it.
I used to, the 0 calorie drinks. As Game on Pet.
Yeah.
I'd have I'd easily have 2 liters a day.
Bro, squash or like Orange Robinsons. Like
I tried to go that route, but for me, it's always like diet drinks. I would be in the supermarket
5 cans a day,
looking at the diet drinks going, well, what can I have now? I don't fancy that.
Yeah.
Pepsi Max, is there a different flavour? Like you're all over the new flavour.
Yeah. And it tastes like arse. But at the time, it tastes good. Like in terms of like the new flavours.
That's fucked up, isn't it?
Yeah. Like you would, like again, I was drinking drinks that were 0 calorie that I would never normally drink, like ginger beer. Just because
ginger beer.
But no, I hate ginger beer, but it's just a different taste, isn't it? Yeah. It's like, or like looking for like the skinny sauces. Like these sauces are just trash. Like, I would never eat them normally.
Walden Farms is grim.
Yeah, but like I would drink Walden Farms out of the like.
I used to do
the jug or whatever it is.
I see the Walden Farms maple syrup.
Yeah,
and I used to put it on eggs.
Bro, 100%.
Because that was like a maple bacon kind of thing.
Yeah,
and I thought it was normal.
No, that's not normal.
It's not normal.
It's not normal. It's not normal. But I think when you come out of it, you can look at it. And I guess, but I know that next time I do it, I'm going to go back. Maybe not, well, hopefully not with the vapes, but.
I don't tend to do the same things that I did last time though.
Or do you feel like you learnt from it?
The fizzy drink one is definitely something I still always do, but I have less. Like last prep, I didn't have as much. I don't tend to like the Walden Farm thing. I don't do that anymore. Like that's weird. Same with the people use those what's those mushroom noodle things? The shirataki noodles where they're like
they're like zero calorie. It's all fiber, isn't it?
No. I don't eat. I had a very bad experience with that. I threw up that.
I ate
too much of that.
Yeah.
It's like elastic bands, bro. It's just like because you just
it's trash,
can't digest it. It's not good, man.
I also went through kind of a phase where I was like, when I was having like a bowl of cereal or whatever, I'd want a different one every single time. I wouldn't want the same one. So like,
Rotation,
remember, in the kitchen, there's like 20 boxes of different
all
cereal.
open.
You're all open with like one bowl missing, which, if you're only having 50 grams, it's not a lot. So just like weird things like that, like, today, no, I want that one. Or I had a good session having the Wheatos orange last time, so I want that again. Like,
thing is, all of these are actually very, very sound ways of managing your hunger if done rationally. Like if you could use the diet, like I'm a big proponent of using the diet drinks to manage your hunger, but you may have and manage your diet, but you're looking at 1 can, 2 cans a day, something like that. We just seem to take it to the extreme. Where we're like, this is great for managing hunger. Yeah. More of it's going to be better. Maybe like a few puffs of vape, like is okay actually for managing your hunger. But nah, I'm gonna have two vapes a day. Maybe I don't know. We just seem to do these things to the extreme because we feel like it's gonna work.
But I guess it is it's because you are going to that level of extreme. So like those extreme behaviors if you want extreme results, then the behaviors are going to be extreme. Like if it was a case of like so for example, I've come down like 12, 13 kilos. Yeah. Mm-hmm. No vape, just normal stuff like nothing extreme because it's easy to do that. Yeah. For example, but going down from like 125 kilos to 88 kilos is extreme. So sub 100 kilos, there needed to be some extreme behaviors, which looking back is not normal. Yeah. But to get to that point, I had to do it. So like hopefully next time, you learn from these things and stuff. But
that's what I'm hoping as well. Every time you do it, you don't need to take things too. It's almost like when when you have a cheat meal for the first time, and people are like, you go ham, right? But then the more frequently you have it, you're a bit like,
don't actually rate it.
Yeah, have it all the time. It's like, nah, I don't really fancy it. Maybe you choose. I think it's the same thing. Every time you contest, maybe, I need this thing. I need this to help me get through it. And I'm sure there'll be a new thing that comes up. Yeah, that take on.
Or like chewing gum, bro. Like I was obsessed with chewing gum.
You like that? Did you swallow the gum?
No, never. But like it'd be like a packet at a time. You go to the shop and buy like 3-4 packets, and if I wanted something, I'd put the whole packet in your mouth.
That's like 30-40 calories.
Exactly, right? But I didn't. So just because it says sugar free, I didn't know. So I was like,
I wonder where you're getting their calories from. Like, it must be just like
in my head.
You're still ingesting some of it, right?
It's got something in it that's a carbohydrate, even though it's not sugar.
So you're still taking in, even though you're not eating or swallowing it, you're still...
It's the stuff I guess it's the stuff that comes out like in the saliva. But then in my head, I was like, well, I'm doing enough chewing to burn 30 calories like extra. So each time.
It's like pre-cum, but it's like... it's like pre-calories.
So, no, you do... Like I said, I think doing extreme... If you're going to go to extreme... If you're doing extreme stuff, then it has the extreme behaviours. I think generally... Rule of thumb, just like be prepared, have your meals prepared, have an idea. I think having an idea of what you're actually going to eat is also important because then it doesn't just result in, I don't know, I haven't got anything, so let me just like, and I know that is a bit of a task. That's why for me, I always find it personally easy just to eat the same thing every day.
I think cooking food yourself as well, it just helps you to save calories too, right? So you get more of it. Because if you go out to eat, well, we talk about this all the time, like fucking calories are so high, right? So naturally, it's going to be so much more difficult to diet if you're eating things which are very high calorie. But also you're saying having the same meal plan, eating the same thing. I think there's loads of credit towards that because what happens there is that you get almost like taste fatigue. And when you diet, you kind of want taste fatigue. The more variety, the more variation, the more you open up your palate to different flavors, it makes you want more. The more variety. That's why I think the flexible dieting sometimes can be a little bit of can also be dangerous as well because you save, let's say 200 calories, 300 calories for this one thing, but you want more of it or you want more variety and it just completely opens up your palate. Whereas if you keep your palate very like mute, it will
stick to the basics.
It will help you a lot. It's just like, with the kids now, like if you give your son, right, you give him a bit of like fucking sugar or something nice, like a fruit. Fruit is a good one. If you give him fruit,
last night
he's gonna want the fruit.
We gave him the pear puree stuff, and he was like waving his hands. That's what I mean.
Like, he don't want the milk anymore.
Where is it?
But he needs to have the milk because the milk is like
where the nutrients are.
Yeah, exactly. And you can see it from kids already. It's like you give them the pure, I want that. I don't want the milk anymore. My little one, she doesn't drink milk no more. She don't want to drink it because she wants to eat the food. And if we give her fruit before her meal, she's not eating the meal. She just wants the fruit. So this is the same for us. If we give ourselves too much variety, we're not going to want certain things.
You have to limit it, don't you?
Absolutely. And I think, there's a huge thing in terms of like eating the same thing. It creates that diet fatigue. It makes you eat a lot less. And I think there's credit to doing that as well.
I think you have to understand that before you start, is that you're going to have to limit what you actually want. Like, I don't think most people would be able to sacrifice like a certain amount of calories and eat a pizza every day and still achieve fat loss. Because if they had to wait, say you had to starve yourself till 6, 7 o'clock at night to eat that pizza or whatever, they're not going to make it to that time.
I guess over time as well, you might, let's say if you do make it, that you're probably only going to you're not going to have a whole pizza. You're going to be able to have a whole thing. The whole thing's going to be like, I think 2 or 3 slices is already like 300 calories, right?
More than that.
That's what I mean. So especially the kind of pizza you're probably eating, right? Like fully loaded.
We had pizza the other day, and my meal was like over 4,000 calories.
That's mad, isn't it?
And that was my last meal.
So let's say your pizza, like, did you have a whole pizza?
Whole large pizza.
Yeah, so that's
chicken goujons, chips, wings. Even the big sauce is 500 odd calories, man. It still counts. That's what, again, in a fat loss phase, things like sauces are so important because, I see so many people that are like, oh, I'm having like potato salad for lunch and it's covered in mayonnaise. And there's quite a bit of potato in there as well. Like, you're not realizing like how much it's covered in mayonnaise, or having a Caesar salad. That dressing alone, man, is like 30 grams of fat.
You could do the low fat mayo.
You can. Yeah, but do people do that though? Because they don't want to then change it. Or like the biggest one that I always see is sweet chili sauce, for example. Yeah. Like pouring it on everything. Like, you're just adding sugar.
I'm having sweet chili sauce as meal too. with a bit of rice as a condiment.
Yeah. Like, just drowning it in it. And it's just like, you're undoing all your hard work each meal, because by the end of the day, you've had a whole bottle, which is like 75, 80 grams of carbohydrates.
Your protein, carbs, fat, sweet chili sauce.
Literally.
Is a macro.
Yeah, literally. Like, it's insane. Well, like barbecue sauce, whatever sauce it is, like, it has to be an understanding that.
But
like,
Ronnie Coleman did that. He got in shape.
Ronnie Coleman did a lot of things that people don't want to do. So
that's it.
Like, so, there has to be something. Same with like the drinks and stuff. Like, you're going to have to maybe not have the full sugar Coke or whatever, because you're just adding calories where it's not necessary.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think there's there's hacks, like things like, we're talking about the meal prepping is a big one. I'm a big proponent of that as well. Even though it's like, it's not the trend. It's not trendy now to do it, right? Whereas I think growing up, that was a big thing. It was
I think it depends on your circle.
You think?
Yeah.
I think nowadays, like, coaches are like, oh, you don't have to eat from a Tupperware container.
Tesco meal deal.
Yeah, you can do. It's like, yeah, you're right. You don't have to, but it doesn't mean that it's not good too. Like, I still feel like preparing your food and taking it with you is a great habit. It's a great behavior to achieve. Yes, you can go and have a meal deal, but for a lot of people, is that realistic? Is it smart to do that?
Probably not.
Probably not. So I think preparing your own food and taking it with you, like, if you want to eat from a Tupperware container, fucking do it, man.
Yeah.
It makes sense. But if you don't want to do it, then you have to accept that you probably are going to feel a little bit more on the hungrier side.
100%. I think that whole preparation is like so key.
Yeah. Like,
even when I was dieting and stuff, and then we were still kind of, in the early stages, like you said, but obviously taking it seriously. Like, I'm going on, like I said, nights out with chicken and rice and chicken rolls in my pocket.
Yeah. Like,
literally getting patted down by bouncers and pulling out my roll. But that's how seriously, like, I was taking it, because I didn't want to miss, or like having a grenade bar in like my back pocket for like when it hit midnight or whatever, and I knew I was going to be
in the wall, innit?
Yeah,
fucking quick grenade.
Literally, like, like, just, and that is, again, is an extreme behavior, but if you want those extreme results, then that's kind of what Otherwise, I'd ended up having like 4,000 calories from a kebab shop. So, it just depends.
What other methods would you say is a good way to manage your hunger?
I think knowing if you're hydrated is important.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a link to feeling empty in your stomach and not actually obviously being hydrated.
Yeah,
so,
I think dehydration is a big one, right?
So I always say like to people, they're like, oh, I'm hungry. I'm like, well, what have you had to drink today? And they're like, I've had a cup of coffee.
Pea's brown.
Yeah. Yeah, literally like when I wee, it hurts and it stings. Okay.
First of all, go get checked out.
Yeah, literally. Well, if you've not had any fluid or taken anything on board and all you've had is like a couple Monster Energies and whatever, well, of course you're going to feel empty. Like, I know when I'm at work and stuff, again, keeping busy is also a hack as well, like making sure that your mind's preoccupied with like other stuff. You could get to like, been at work since, 8 o'clock and it's now 2 o'clock. I've not eaten anything all day, but I've not realised because I've just been hydrated.
Busy.
And I've been busy, been working. So I don't actually know. And it was getting to the point where it's like, I'm actually going to have to make time to eat because I don't want to then eat 2 meals worth of food before I go and train and things like that. So
I used to, before a meal, when I'm feeling hungry, I'll make sure I drink like 500 ml water.
Yeah.
Just to like kind of like fill the stomach almost and then eat.
No, definitely. Just making sure that you're constantly always sipping throughout the day is like a hack. And I guess a hack as well that I used to, did do, again, was like I would down like a Pepsi Max just to inflate my stomach.
Yeah. Do you know what I did?
I mean, that's like towards the end of like serious fat loss. But
do you know what stupid thing I did? I watched fucking George Osborne's vlog, right? And they were doing this, they're putting like sodium bicarbonate or some shit.
To inflate it, yeah.
So I did that. Fucking, I'll put way too much.
Shit, boy.
I started getting a headache. I was feeling like, fuck, I got a migraine, like, because it's just too much. And it was like, to a point, the oats were fizzy.
No, that's disgusting.
Those are like fizzy.
But you do that though. Even like your porridge, isn't it? It was always like, maybe I could just add like another 50 milliliters of water.
Yeah.
Maybe another 50 milliliters.
Put some psyllium husk in it.
Yeah. Like, what the hell? Like, just craziness.
Yeah.
But I think just go back to the point though, being like busy and trying to. That's why I always struggled when I would stop working.
Some holidays, right?
Like some holidays, because then it's like
got so much time.
It's like, oh shit. Okay, so I've done my steps. I've trained. I'm now just going to sit here and watch bloody Eric the Electric eat 20,000 calories in like however long, and then it's like I'm literally sitting there looking at it. And I'm going to eat soon. I'm going to eat. So literally like rocking back and forth, like it's nearly time to eat. It's nearly time. Now I would eat on the dot.
Yeah, you're like clock watching, right?
Yeah, like you just end up waiting around for it, and then you start thinking about it. Like, it wasn't like giving me anxiety about like eating, but it's the only thing then that you become so obsessed with, like, well, when am I eating? But once everything else is done, whereas before it'd be like, okay, I've got to go and do my steps, got to train, got to do my cardio, this, that. Once that's all done, the only thing that you can really focus on is when am I going to eat next?
Yeah. And
for me, that's not a good place to be in.
Yeah.
Personally. So.
Yeah, I think staying busy is a big one. Like, that's why a lot of most like kind of normal people, they'll struggle with their diet because in the evening, because that's when you have the most free time.
Yeah, free time.
You finish, like during the day, you don't feel too busy. You wake up, like your head's like, you wake up in the morning, you don't feel immediately hungry because you're ready to go. You're like, oh shit, I've got to get to work, I've got to do this. You're at work and you're busy and, people are making you do things. So you don't really have time to think about whether you're hungry or not, right? Like we've been doing this podcast, I'm starving, but I don't, normally if I was on prep, I'd be like just thinking about food. But because we're having conversation, we're talking, we're busy, it actually masks the hunger a little bit more, right? It's much more easy to manage that. I think if you can stay busy, it reduces that urge for like boredom eating. And I think in the evenings, it's just, sometimes it's not, and this is where it comes down to psychological versus physiological hunger. If you can, maybe you're just not filling your cup enough, not in terms of liquid, but in terms of like what you're doing. Maybe you're just bored in the evening.
Yeah, literally.
You finish working. Like,
well, that's why I started playing like PlayStation again. Yeah, started playing that just to like take my mind off it, like doing something different, and then you end up going down that hole and then forgetting to eat because you're so engrossed in the game. So
not sleeping.
Yeah, literally.
That makes you
it takes away
well.
from something else. So there's always going to be
extreme, man.
Yeah, no, literally. But finding a good balance, I think, is important. I mean, what do you think about people that push their calories back towards kind of the end of the day? Is that something that you've done? Recommend?
Like fasting, right? Intermittent fasting.
Not necessarily fasting, but like
saving more calories.
Saving, like, if you're doing a flexible diet approach, for example, saving your carbohydrates maybe for your evening meal.
Yeah.
And then maybe after you eat, when you sat down watching telly or whatever, then you can have like a bowl of cereal or some fruit, things like that. So maybe taking your carbs away from in the morning, when maybe you don't feel as hungry, and just having like, I know I used to do that, where it would be like, okay, I'm just gonna have my whey protein shake to tick me over till about midday, and then I'll start like introducing carbohydrates and things like that.
I'm a little bit mixed. Like, I did try that for sure. Like, during prep, I would fast like all the way until like I'd make sure like I'm gonna go do my training, do my cardio, step count early, try to push my calories back as much as I can to the evening, because that's when I felt hungry. But I also do feel like it kind of also creates that problem too. So because you're starving yourself throughout the whole day, you then become so hungry. So then in the evening, it's basically impossible for you to stick to your calories, right? Because you're fucking ravenous. Versus maybe if I actually ate some food in the morning, I had some energy to do the things, I wasn't so stressed out, maybe I'd actually be able to stick to my nutrition better in the evening.
I think,
right.
You mentioned stress there. I think managing your stress whilst, being in a fat loss phase is
everything feels
really
stressful when you're dieting.
Yeah, even putting your shoes on, getting dressed, having a shower is stressful, because
that's why people get in so many arguments, right? When you're low calorie, you get angry.
Everything it does become difficult, especially when you're getting to the low ends of, or like even maybe not low ends, just for a long period of time, it just becomes
aggy.
Yeah, literally, and then you have to be really self-aware of yourself to like kind of fight against that and like try and reduce the amount of like negative interactions that you're kind of having with people. Yeah. But then I've done things when if I am feeling a bit like that, or like I'll just not go to certain events or situations because I can't be asked, because it's just like the people just be asking questions about like, why are you not eating? Why are you not drinking?
What are you eating?
What flavour rice cake is that? Like all this sort of stuff. And I was like, you know what? I just can't be asked with it.
Yeah.
So rather than me give like a sarky answer or something, I'm just not going to go. Like, for example. So...
Yeah. It's hard, man, like dieting and hunger and like people not understanding. That's why people tend to just live, like bodybuilders tend to be friends with other bodybuilders, because it's like the understanding, right? The mutual kind of thing. But hey, I think one thing that you don't like to do as well when dieting is eat vegetables, bro.
Yeah, no, I'm not a big fan. Like I said, it's a tough one because I see it as a waste of calories.
Like, do you not feel like it's good because it's like you can eat so much more of it? Like I could eat bare broccoli, or like I can eat a lot of cabbage.
But you have to like broccoli. There still has to be an element where you like it.
Yeah, I guess.
Which I'm not anti-broccoli. I'm just pro-rice.
Yeah.
Like, and I know the trade-off is like minimal. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not naive enough to think like you can have way more rice and stuff. But I'd rather have that like extra 2 spoonfuls of rice for like a whole thing of broccoli.
That's the logic when you're dieting, right?
That is it. And like vegetables are something I eat more in the off season. Vegetables.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because I do count. Like I know some people don't count vegetables stuff for calories, but I do. And like if I was dieting, I would be like, it's just like, and again, and also it's just another thing to be worried about making. I know it's not hard, but when you're like anal about weighing everything out and doing, it's just another thing to have to worry about. And I just can't be asked, to be honest with you. Like I don't mind dieting and having a salad. I'd rather have that than like vegetable stuff, but I would do that again to push carbohydrates back for later. So for like lunch on like a non-training day, for example, I know I'm not going to need as much, so I'd have that instead and push some carbs back for the evening or whatever. So
I think, going back to the pushing back, I think a lot of people tend to have a very big opportunist mindset when it comes to pushing food back. So you'll take the piss, like as always, the extremes, right? You go more and more extreme. So in the beginning, you might be saving calories, like 200 calories. And then later you're like saving 300, then you're saving 400, then 500. And it's like, you start to take the piss. And the thing is that you end up spending more and more, saving more and more of your calories for the end of the day in order to, eat, right? And
I guess then you have to be like aware that you're going to feel more hungry in the evening, but it doesn't mean that you should fall off, I guess. Yeah. Because I was getting to the point where I was pushing back my calories and I was eating more. And I was still bloody hungry anyway, so it's pointless. Still felt the same after eating.
Yeah.
So I might as well just spread it out throughout the day and felt better about myself.
Yeah, for more energy.
For more energy in the daytime,
than to be that way. Yeah. And I think sleeping early is a massive one as well. Like when nothing good ever happens later. Like we try to stay up, like for whatever reason, right?
Nah, there's no point.
And it's like when you're dieting, it's like, fucking just go to bed.
But I think that's important just in general, to be honest with you. I think like what you do, like sometimes I'm like, what am I actually doing?
Yeah,
I'm watching a shitty YouTube video. I'm watching a shitty EastEnders or whatever, or I'm scrolling TikTok. No, just go to bed.
Yeah.
Like you've fallen asleep once already.
Yeah.
Like I think that's just better for all phases, to be honest with you.
We would love it. It's because we just spend the whole day being quite busy. Like you're working, you don't have time to yourself. And that little period before you sleep and where everyone else is like, maybe your kids have gone to sleep or whatnot, and you can just have it to yourself where maybe your wife's not disturbing you, telling you to do this, do that.
She's on TikTok, I'm on TikTok.
You're just like, this is good. I can just relax for a second, you know? I think that's what people are living for at the moment, if I'm honest.
Yeah, but we need to put a stop to that.
For sure. Because it does affect how you function the next day. I think the less of that you need to do, the less that you kind of feel like you need to do it as well, if that makes sense. So because during the day you feel so tired and you don't have that much energy, you want to claw back some time to yourself in the evening, which then makes you feel that same way, right? So it's kind of like a full cycle.
It's just a vicious cycle really to get trapped in, isn't it? It's like,
that's it.
I'm tired all day. I'm going to consume this content that makes me feel more awake. And now I'm awake again. And I've got to be up early again in the morning. And when I wake up, I'm going to be tired.
Yeah, so then it takes longer to do the stuff that I need to do.
It's going to end up going around in that cycle forever.
Yeah, that's it.
So, yeah.
Do you think there's value in terms of where you place your macros? So maybe having more calories for protein, less calories for carbohydrates, going low carb?
I think it's preference, isn't it? Depends. I mean, I've done ketogenic diet for a long period of time. I just found it was you have less option. For me, less options for what I actually want to eat. I'd always be pro carbohydrate. Yeah. I think that's easier in the long run to sustain.
Yeah.
Especially if you are trying to be flexible. I think ketogenic out and about and eating out is difficult. Well, more difficult, I should say, in terms of choices, things like that. So me personally, I'm pro carbohydrate guy. I'd rather drop the fats a little bit and have a high carbohydrate and protein diet than, trying to just eat cheese all day long.
I always try to preserve carbohydrates like to the fucking very limit. I'm just like, I'd rather have 100 grams of potato than have nothing, you know? And, but I don't know if that's the best thing. I don't know if, I feel like there is some credit to having pro-fat meals. Like, I think they do manage your hunger potentially a little bit better, especially when it's lower. But just for me, it's that one thing, right? I want to have carbohydrates. Like,
I know. I want cereal.
Yeah, I fucking don't want to just eat meat and vegetables. Or for you, it would just be meat.
Yeah, I'll just be
fucking
no, but that's all it was. Literally.
Yeah, you don't want to eat
feta cheese and meat. That was it. That's all I kind of stuck to. That was it.
The diet is bizarre.
For over 4 months.
Chicken breast and chorizo.
So yeah. But you have to. Yeah, I think you have to. You definitely have to experiment what kind of works for you and what you don't like, especially if you've not done it before. So you might have to try like a pro-fat, maybe even just like 2-3 days on the spin where you have low carbohydrates, see how you feel. Do you feel, then do the next 3 days with high carbohydrates, lower fat? Did you feel better? You feel more energized, and just kind of work it out kind of for yourself. That's why I did carb cycling before, which I wasn't a big fan of. I didn't like the inconsistencies of when I was getting it.
Do you not feel like that's basically what people are doing now still? Where they do training days, non-training days. Yeah, basically carb cycling.
Pretty much, yeah. Pretty much.
People have like high, medium, low, right? Like real.
Yeah, that's what. So I did that with the carb cycling thing. I just didn't like that one day I could eat more on one day. I'd just rather it be consistent.
It's complicated, isn't it?
I'd rather it just be, this is what I'm eating for the whole week.
Yeah.
So, but that's me, again, that's personal preference.
I like to keep things simple as well. I don't like the fluctuations. It's like, oh, fuck, I forgot today.
Oh, damn, I overate because I thought it was a high day.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to tell my coach.
That's it. But yeah, I think as well, like snacking, do you have any hacks for like snacks?
To not snack?
To not snack, or
Just
have any, is there low calorie?
one.
Everyone always like, is there any good low calorie snacks for dieting?
The best way to stop snacking is not to buy snacks. Simple as that.
I can agree with that, man.
Like that is generally it. If you're someone that really struggles with like picking at things, and just don't buy it. What are you actually buying it for then?
Yeah. I do think snacking is like one way to kind of fuck up your diet.
100%.
Just eat a meal rather than trying to snack on food. Like snacking is basically like an appetizer.
But snack is like, what is it? Like I said, what is a snack? Because my snack is going to look completely different to someone else's snack.
Snack for me is like very, very, it's not a meal. It's a small thing.
Oh, so I'll give you an example. So the other day I wanted a snack, right?
Yeah.
I had the entire bag of crisps, those pop chip things, the lentil ones, like the big bag. Yeah, it says low calorie on the front. I looked at the back. It's still 60 grams of carbs, like 25 grams of fat and whatever.
How many calories is it?
Oh, God, like, off the top of my head.
500?
Something like that.
Yeah. They're usually about there for the pop chips.
But that was a snack.
Yeah. That's what I mean. So
my problem was that was a snack that I felt...
That could have been a meal.
That could have been a meal, and that after I ate it, I wanted another snack because it didn't satisfy me. So I was 500 calories deep.
This is not the right snack.
Yeah, I was 500 calories deep. And I could have eaten a whole other 2 bags.
Yeah.
Like that was the problem for me. So that's what I mean about snack. Like for some people, a snack might be a banana, but I just had 2 bananas today. It's still 60 grams of carbs.
Yeah.
And if you're only meant to be eating 200 and you're having that extra day, it's a lot.
Bare potassium, boys.
I don't know, snack, that's a good one actually.
Yeah. I think one of the things is people tend to, whatever they eat, like you're saying with the chips, right? People will eat from the bag.
Yeah, rather than,
Yeah, and I think that's a big mistake when it comes to snacking because you're always like, I'll just have 1 or 2. Man. But then we sit down and you're like, fuck it.
Yeah, but when you actually look at what a portion is, it's really upsetting.
But if you take it out and put it in your separate bowl or something like that and then put the food away, like if you get biscuits, I'm just going to have 2 biscuits, take the biscuit out, put the other biscuits away.
Yeah, but the problem with doing that is that they're still there.
They are still there, but it's going to require you to do a certain thing to go get it. So
you
the barrier,
you have to get up on your ass to go and get it.
But there's a choice in that moment that actually brings you to being less impulsive, right? Because impulse is like, here it could just be like this.
Yeah.
Whereas if you have to go, there's a thought process to go, am I going to get off my seat now?
Yeah, but there's also a thought process to having 2 in the first place anyway. Or buying like the whole thing. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's why it's easier just not to buy it.
But it's so easy to just go like this, right? Versus to be like, oh, I'm going to...
Yeah, but you can't complain about snack. If you know that you overeat, you can't complain about you putting things in your mouth that you bought.
But what if you live with family and they bought it and you're like, I'm dying, but I can't.
Well, it depends. It depends if you're
like, if you're at your mum's house and mum's like fucking going ham. Like, my mum used to do that all the time. My parents, I was prepping, I was still living there. And buying, like, my dad would just buy bare croissants from Costco, you know.
Yeah.
And no one prep. Even now, like, I wouldn't look twice at it.
Yeah.
But
when you're okay.
I had to cover it.
Yeah, but I guess it's still that thing though, isn't it? It was like you said, you're still, if you go into the kitchen and look for it and take it, that's on you. It's not on the other person. No one's like, I keep saying it.
Yeah, no one's forcing you.
If anyone forces anything in your mouth, you need to call the police. Like, genuinely, you can't be everyone else's fault. It's not the supermarket's fault that you bought the chocolate. You can't blame the marketing or anything. You bought it.
Yeah.
Whether it's at the front of the store or the back of the store. Like, you know, they moved like all the chocolate bars from the front of the store to now the back. But the back aisle was still packed out of people in the back buying the multi-packs.
People going down the back.
People are looking for it.
Yeah. Where's it gone? Why is it inconvenient?
Yeah. But like,
move to the back.
You can't blame, like, yes, okay, advertising obviously plays a part in, you know, manipulating people if you like, but you know.
Do you know what? I actually think they've helped. There's shrinkflation. Have you heard of that?
No.
So it's like where, you know how you've noticed that when you go to McDonald's, like the meals are smaller, right?
Yeah, okay, yeah.
So that's shrinkflation, where they've shrunk the size of the thing, but they've kept the cost the same.
Yeah.
So that is what shrinkflation is. Like if you buy chocolate or biscuits, well, you'll notice like digestive biscuits, for example.
Yeah,
they
tiny.
used to be hella big, right? Or not hella big, but they were bigger.
Yeah.
Now they're like little.
Bro, I
tiny.
had a Snickers the other day.
What's going on?
I could have put it all in my mouth at once.
That's what I mean.
And that's not a talent to be proud of. But
So that's the shrinkflation, right? So actually, these companies they're actually helping you to lose weight because the calories reduced.
yeah. But then for people, it's like, hang on a second, I can have 2.
Yeah.
So I think,
Now it's an awkward size, isn't it? Before you used to have 1, it was okay. Now like 1's not enough. I need to have like 1.5, but I don't want to have 1.5. I want to have 2.
Yeah. I think the snack is a killer. Snack is a killer for people.
Yeah.
But like I said, just don't buy it.
Yeah.
Or don't entertain it. Like you have to be able, it's like when you go to work and they've got like cake or someone's birthday or whatever.
That's the fucked up one. Isn't it? I'm lucky I never worked in that kind of
just say happy birthday and move on. You haven't got to take the cake. Like, you haven't got to take the cake.
Happy birthday. You want some cake?
No.
This is where people struggle with saying no, right? Oh, yeah.
You really don't want, but you know what the worst part is? You don't even want it. You don't even like the flavour. But why are you saying yes?
Yeah. People don't even. This is what really happens. It's like, oh, happy birthday, and it's like, fine, I'll take the cake.
Yeah,
then
fine,
it's like, no, I didn't offer you any.
It's
not
not
if
for
you
you.
have to. I will.
It's not for you.
Yeah. If I have to eat it, fuck, come on then.
Literally. But it's the same with going out to eat. You don't have to order the most like calorie dense thing on the menu. The waiter comes to you and says, what would you like?
But what if
he doesn't say you need to eat this?
I don't want to waste the food, you know. Once I've ordered it, I don't want to waste it. Have to eat.
No, but I agree with that.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is you don't have to order the most calorie, like the most thing with the most calories on the menu. That's your choice. If you choose that, that's up to you. The waiter doesn't force you to order anything. You choose.
Well, there might be pressure in it. Would you like to try the house wine?
There's no pressure.
Oh, go on then.
There's no. No, I don't want to try the bloody house. Bring me a bloody tap water and a salad.
Go on then, give us the house wine.
Nah.
What else you got as well whilst you're there?
Yeah, literally. Like when they bring the bread basket, you don't have to eat it.
Yeah. The thing is, they just leave it there, don't they? The Turkish guys.
Look at it. Sometimes I just like staring at it. I just like looking at it.
So why have you done that, mate?
Yeah. Or you say, actually, excuse me, I don't want this. Take it away.
Yeah. No one's going to say that. It's free, innit?
It's never free.
People are different when it comes to free food.
It's never free, though.
I'm telling you. Obviously, you're paying.
You think it's free, and then when the bill comes, you see bread.
Yeah.
I didn't ask for that.
Well, fuck it. But I've eaten it, though.
Ridiculous.
But yeah, free food is different. Like, people always are on a mad one when it comes to free food.
True.
It is true. But like, water's free. I don't see better people drinking out of the fountain going, oh, fuck. What do you know what I mean?
No one wants water.
But food is different, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any other tips for people to managing hunger? Anything that comes to mind?
Not that we haven't already spoken about.
I think for me, the last thing that I would say is that the more you try these, although these hacks are like, help to manage hunger, I think the more you try to hack your way through hunger, you just end up in a bigger hole. You do have to, like you said, have to accept the hunger a little bit. Know that I'm fucking dieting, man.
Yeah.
I should be hungry.
I'm in the trenches.
Yeah, I'm in the fucking trenches, man. I've got my army hat on. I've got trench foot. I've got my Wellingtons on.
I'm ready to go.
I've got my war paint.
Ridiculous.
So I am supposed to be hungry. And I think...
And that's okay.
Yeah, and that's fine. I don't have to react to that,
Because at the end of the day, it is a choice.
Yeah.
And if you put things into like perspective, there are people around the world who are actually starving because they don't have a choice. So for you to be complaining about that fact that you're hungry and it's your choice.
You can't eat because you're choosing not to
you're
eat.
literally going out your way to not eat and then you want to complain about it. Just suck it up and get on with it.
To a degree, yeah. All right. And I think that wraps up our final episode on this. And if you enjoyed this episode, feel free to leave a review on iTunes and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. And if you really enjoyed this, then you can find us on Instagram at Gym With Him. And my co-host is at Archie13 with 2 E's. Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.